probably a lot of women right now with their arm around a good man that drives a bus, laughing at her because she ain't got a man.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So,
A lot happened this week, and one thing in particular just lasted on and on and on throughout the week. So I was like, oh, we got to weigh in. We used to do relationship topics all the time, and since we got married, we were just like, y'all fend for yourselves.
yeah.
No, I think a lot of the single women were getting tired of our relationship advice, and it was like, you on your own, JoJo.
I don't think so. I think people appreciated it, even though people disagree or whatever. But I think they appreciated it. So today we're going to be talking about Ebony K. Williams.
Okay.
Ebony K. Williams went on the Griot.
No, she has a show on the Griot.
Oh, she has a show on
Iyanla went on her show.
She brought Iyanla on.
Iyanla.
And they had this long conversation, and she eventually, Iyanla asked her, would you date a bus driver? And she was like, if he owned the bus.
Yeah.
And, just kind of went on to say a lot of stuff that hurt a lot of people, basically kind of calling bus drivers and people who have blue collar jobs mediocre and things like that, right?
Yeah.
So that story went on for, a couple days. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then they finally invited her on
The Breakfast Club. Yeah.
On The Breakfast Club.
Which made it worse.
Made it a little worse. But yeah, so what did you guys, first of all, what are some of the other things she said after the initial comment that you thought was notable?
Okay, so the first one was, of course, the meeting with her and Iyanla, and then she came back because it was a lot of comments on that video. Mm-hmm. And she came back and she talked about it, and then she was saying it was white supremacy and all this other stuff. And then from there, she ends up, I think it got worse after that comment stuff. Because people were just basically like, this is your preference. Just stand on your preference. Just say, hey, I won't date somebody who's a worker. I would date a boss. That's in essence what you were saying. Like, I want to date somebody who got money or who's running their company versus the worker. But she didn't. She just kept talking about mediocre. We got to do better as people. Black men got to do better. Blah 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 blah. And it just got worse and worse and worse. And it's like, like I said, to me personally, I have two things. I think the first thing was, for her, if she just would have just said that's her preference. Because I think people don't have a problem with your preference.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think the problem was with her is the way she was sounding and looking down on the people of who she was talking about and stuff. So, but then my second thing was, I don't know if a man could get away with what she said though. Like, no, I'm not dating nobody below me. Like in this climate right now, he'd have got killed. So I think that's the thing is, when men said that,
wasn't that essentially Kevin Samuels? Though?
I think that's the same thing.
Same thing, right?
Same kind of content of saying like, you're not a high value. I'm a high value man, but you're not. You don't. Kind of thing. But I think what it was is, it's just that preference piece. You know what I'm saying? But I think at the end of the day, you could date whoever you want to date, you know what I mean? And but at the same time, people can date. And I was telling this to Maya, people don't understand that marriage stuff happens in marriage that you think may not happen that will happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you may think like, I'm losing a job or I'm gonna get sick or, you know what I'm saying? And stuff happen in marriages that I was saying to her, like, it like fires that people don't want to go through no more. So they think like stuff ain't gonna happen to them, and you know what I mean. And I think we're in the superficial stage, and I thank God every day for my wife, man. I'm like, I don't know if I could marry anybody. You know what I mean? Finding somebody in this climate now will be hard with the same type of values and the same type of mentality that I have as being a husband and me looking for a wife in this climate. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think it's harder, and I'm not saying that women of that quality that I found in my wife don't exist, but I'm saying that it's based off of what you're seeing online. It doesn't look like it exists. That's what I'm saying.
And so you can find ways to offend people. So you have to be careful how you say things to people. Yeah. Because it can come back on you easy. So when I watched that clip, that's kind of what I got. But then I also watched more other interviews and shorts that she's been a part of, and to me, it just sounds like there's definitely something missing out of her life. And there's a void she's trying to fill. And so as she tries to fill this void, hurt people. So it seems weird that she would say some of the things she does say. I saw one guy who was talking about her past and why she would say that, like the trauma that she had growing up, financial.
Yeah, but she even talked about her mother being a bus driver or driving something, and then that made me think about like, oh, maybe that's the reason why she may look down on it, because it's something that her mother probably hated to do. And for you as a kid or you as a child looking at your mother do something that she hates to do, you'd be like, ooh, I would never do that. So in your mind, it's like, you know what I mean? Like I was telling Maya this yesterday. I was like, I don't look down on people who drive trucks, but I know I wouldn't drive a truck because I just know my dad was a truck driver. And when he would drive trucks, he got in accidents. He did certain things. They make great on the road. Yeah, he was away from his family. So I knew that wouldn't be a profession for me because I've seen the effects of, even though they make great money, but the effects of him being on the road was very detrimental to our family.
I just hate driving, so I wouldn't want to be a truck driver.
So I'm trying to understand her point of view. So if she saw that in her past and she sees, she said her purpose and her vision was to accelerate black people out of, black people having like the lowest paying jobs in the country, and doing all of the
she was
work.
Right. Everything she was saying there, I agreed. Like what she was saying was right, but she was backpedaling from that. She was using that as a backpedal, so she went and faced what they was trying to make her face.
Well, so the issue is if she believes that her family came from that and she's gotten to a better place, she's always going to see those jobs as lesser than
where what
she's doing. Right. And I think there is virtue in what she's saying, is that she's trying to advance black people into higher paying roles and things like that. That's true. But if your goal is really to do that, is it wise to make all the people who are currently do that feel like crap?
Yeah.
That's the part of it is you can believe that in your heart, but don't insult the people who are currently doing that.
Yeah.
If you really want to uplift them and make them feel empowered, that's not the right way to do it.
Yeah.
That was my initial thought.
Yeah.
But also, is it even true? Like, is somebody who drives a bus, sanitation worker, these things, are these people mediocre and regular and average? Like, is that the right way to describe somebody who is working, paying their bills, taking care of a family, like, owning a house?
I was saying this, like, in my job, you have times where you meet people and y'all have conversations about life in general, and then you realize when talking to different people is like, hey, this person, this is what they love to do.
Yeah.
And anything you say to them, they're comfortable with a 9-to-5 that take care of their kids, their household. They're comfortable with it, and this may be the only thing they love, and they're fine with it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Other people may have ambitions to do other stuff, to be like, this is my final stop. I want to own another business. I want to do this. I want to go back to college. I want to do something different. But I know inside of me, God put inside of me that this isn't my final place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing for certain people. But I would never disrespect anybody.
Right.
If somebody came to me, if one of our people on our team, one of our young ladies on our team that's talking to say, hey, can you guys check this guy out? And he works he's a garbage man. And I'm like, oh, okay. Do you love him? Did he treat you? Did he have character? For me, it's about the inward stuff. It's not about the financial stuff for me.
How about somebody who is a young lady who's grown up in a family where everybody was educated and went for advanced degrees, and they went to college and they pursued a lifestyle that would feel comfortable and feel like it's deserving of the work they put in? What do you say to that young lady if there's a young man who didn't do any of those things that is interested in her? What do you say to her that after all that hard work, now you're going to essentially be taking care of your husband? What do you do to that person?
Here's the thing. It depends on if she is okay with that, one, and then two, what are their situations? You know what I'm saying? Different things work for different households.
Yeah.
Yep. What works with Ryan's household may not work with Sean's household.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Vice versa. Mm-hmm. So whatever that is. Now, I wouldn't tell nobody just jump into some situation where it's a blind situation and you're going to be. But if somebody's making more money, are you saying making more money than her? I mean, she's making more money than him?
No, like he's, making, regular person's wage, right? 40, 50,000, right?
Yeah.
But she's making 200,000.
Yeah.
If she's looking at her options, like this young lady, I'm assuming Ebony K. Williams is in that range. How do you convince her that that's the right man for her if she's financially way up here and he's way down here? I think that's hard for a young lady to decide to jump into when obviously financial security is very important to her because she worked really hard to get it.
And I would say to her, if he treats you like gold, that's who you need to be with. Because here's my thing. You could lose your job tomorrow.
Yep.
And what happens if you lose your job tomorrow? And the way the market...
That's probably what she's worried about.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, but even with the market, the way it looks right now, or the job market or whatever, like, you may not get back to making $200,000 unless you do 3 jobs.
Right. But
you know what I'm saying?
But that's why she may say, I need somebody who's making as much or more just in case I lose my job.
But what if he lose his job?
Then they would say, at least we have some experience and, education and all that to get back there.
But what I'm saying is what if it doesn't pan out the way you want it to pan out? Because everybody thinks stuff pans out the way you want it to pan out. But God may be like, you know what? I want y'all to go around the world and be missionaries. I'm calling y'all to do this.
Are you willing to give it up?
Are you willing to give that up? Because sometimes, like somebody in the comments just said it, sometimes we love titles. We love a position. We love looking prestige. And God is like, I'm not calling you to look prestige. I'm calling you to fulfill my purpose in this world.
So a young single lady, let's say Camille, my sister. 2 guys come up and she says, hey, Sean, this young man, he works as a janitor at a high school. Good man, loves Jesus. There's another man, good man, loves Jesus, and he's a lawyer making $300,000. What would you say to her?
For Camille's personality, I would say check your heart, because Camille can weed through what's not right and what's what is right. Yeah. So I would definitely tell her to check her heart and where she meets with her commonality and her interest with both of those men. Because you're not just gonna sit up there and throw money at Camille. I mean, it just doesn't work that way. So for me, and I have known Camille for as long as I've known you, so she is like my little sister too. I would definitely recommend that she looks for what godly character she wants out of that man. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the person with the money could be also battling the fact that I love Jesus, but I could be like that rich man in the Bible where Jesus says, sell everything you own and follow me, and like, hesitant. Whereas, somebody else might be like, oh, I'm selling everything, following Jesus. Let's go, So, and I thought about this too. The woman, there's probably a lot of women right now with their arm around a good man that drives a bus laughing at her because she ain't got a man. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And so they're happy with the family that they've raised. Yeah. They're happy with the companionship that they have. And you got people out there that's, looking at, I remember someone telling me, I'm waiting on somebody with a good credit score. I would never marry anybody with a bad credit score. And I'm like, but you don't know where people start off and what they go through, I had been through a layoff when I met my wife, and I had been through a situation where I had to go through hardship. I had a mortgage, I was a homeowner at the age of 23, just starting out. And I really didn't know that, jobs were unstable like that. So when I got laid off, I was like, oh, I'm going to go through some things if I don't figure things out. And I'm 23. I'm trying to figure things out every day. Even to this age now, I'm still trying to figure things out. So I say all that to say, like, you don't necessarily know the character and value of a person if you're just looking at what their bank account was on their checkbook.
What if because a lot of young ladies, security is like a big deal to them, right? That's something that from
then when you don't trust Jesus.
Well, security as far as in their relationship, because finances usually break up a lot of marriages. Yeah. Right? So what if that's a fear of theirs and they're like, man, I just don't want to have to go through that part, the struggle, the ends meeting and fighting over money. What if there's some sort of comfort in them knowing the person I'm marrying is set with that. We have savings. We're good. And of course, things can happen, but at least from the jump, we're straight.
Then I would challenge you to say, what are the dreams, goals, and aspirations of that person? Because you don't know what God is doing in their life. Their story's not, their book has not been closed yet. The story's not done. So you have some great opportunity, that could be lying dormant. I was talking with one of our friends the other day. He was telling me that he knew a guy he read a story or article where this guy was making $80,000 a year, and he was afraid to quit his job, right? But when he finally stepped out there and started his own business, he made $400,000 in his first year. You could be marrying that bus driver with that vision that just needs you to invest in what he's got going on.
Yeah, but she did talk about that. She did say that something where, going back in the Breakfast Club interview, where she was talking about purpose, of what if he got a purpose and all that other stuff. I think we're in a place right now where I don't know if we're in a place. Are we in a place where it's just high? Like, people's standards are extremely high, not reasonable, but just saying, like, because to me, I'm never going to tell her, hey, date the bus driver, because to me, that's not her desire. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not her preference. But at the same time, I wouldn't look over nobody because they do that type of work or any type of work. That it matters that if they love what they do, because some people, if you ever spoke to some bus drivers, they take pleasure in driving people around and talking to people.
It's a servant
job, yeah.
Yeah. You know what I would tell her? I would say get to know the bus driver. I wouldn't even say don't date the bus driver.
I would tell her to
leave
leave him alone because you're not good enough for him. And I would say she could have her preference, because I wouldn't send her to none of the people I know.
Yeah.
She sounds like a nightmare. But what I would say is that it's fine for her to have a preference, but she just really needs to be careful to not insult the people she claims she's trying to help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a mistake.
Yeah.
And she made a mistake. She had a chance to fix it. She doubled down twice.
Yeah.
To me, she made it way worse for herself. She just needs to apologize for insulting people and stop trying to double down on nonsense. Like, you date whoever you want, but don't make people who are trying their best feel like crap. Give them maybe they don't know they can own something. Maybe they know they can own the bus. Give them the information, help them out, but don't make them feel like crap along the way. To me, that she messed up. She should.
Yeah.
But I think also too, in that, like I told y'all earlier, at Breakfast Club, and she talked about listening to Jesus, and I don't know, that part was like, I was like, bro,
that was a mess.
After that would have been, for me, I'd have been like, yo.
Yeah, she was basically like, because she was like, even if Jesus told me I was wrong, I wouldn't care or whatever. And Envy was like, if Jesus said it, you would. She was like, you would.
Oh, snap.
I would not send her anywhere near my friends. I'll tell you that. You in the field with the Trackstarz, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Let's go.